The OK Senior Final promises to be an epic spectacle with 35 drivers all bidding to be the man who can finally eclipse Thomas Stoltjemanis, who has been the king of Franciacorta all weekend long. But can he be beaten in the toughest race of the Champions of the Future Winter Series 2022? We're about to find out. There is the star Latvian in the energy course. He has been the king of everything. Fastest in time qualifying, winner of the 3 heats, winner of the super heat this morning. But can he win the final? Definitely will be tough for the star Latvian. We'll have to see how it plays out for him. It will definitely be very tricky from this position. Second place on the grid, though, the reigning world champion, Tuukka Tarppanen from Finland and the Tony Kart Factory team. One of the youngest world champions ever. He comes into the 2022 season hoping to conquer all. So Tuukka Tarppanen will join Thomas Stoltjemanis on the front row of the starting grid. But there's plenty of firepower behind as well. In third position, the reigning junior world champion, Kian Nakamura-Berta for the Kart Republic Motorsport team. He has been lightning all weekend long and could just go to the top spot in his first OK Senior weekend. It has been amazing all the way throughout for Kian Nakamura-Berta, but this man has a great chance as well. From the United Arab Emirates, Rashid Al-Daheri flying the flag. The Emirati has been amazing since his switch to Kart Republic Motorsport. It's his first weekend in OK Senior, and he might just get the job done himself. But the third row of the grid has plenty of talent amongst it as well. There's not just 4 men in this fight, there's plenty more behind. In fifth position, Joe Turney, the captain of the Green, White and Red Brigade. And this is a man who has plenty of opportunities to go into 2022 as the fastest of them all. He's been the nearly man. This is his opportunity to take command. But with Joe Turney, alongside him comes another spectacular race driver who wants to make it happen for all of his fans back home. The Brazilian star, Gabriel Gomes for CRG. He has conquered everything in Brazil, from the National Championship to the Ayrton Senna Memorial Trophy. Here he is in Europe for a full season campaign. Can he start it as Champions of the Future Winter Series winner? There are some great racing drivers to try and take this title here this weekend at Franciacorta. And even the men just behind the top 6 have a great opportunity. It's going to be a tough one for Matias Ferreira. The Brazilian will go off P7 on the grid, but his first weekend as a senior could be very fruitful. And on the fourth row of the starting grid alongside Matias Ferreira, we will see the talented Tony Kart racer Ian Eichmans, who will fly the flag for Belgium this weekend with the EGP racing colours resplendent on his helmet and his mechanics crew gear. This could be a great weekend for the superstar Belgian. The drivers are now in position. Their mechanics are with them. This is the moment they've been waiting for. A very tough racing prospect, 23 laps around the course, and they all want the same thing. Thomas Stoltjemanis to be beaten, but the Latvian has been perfect all weekend long. Is this the race where he finally goes to battle and loses out, or will he just take command and remain at the head of the pack? 23 laps of Franciacorta will not be easy here, but the OK Senior Final is about to get underway in the Champions of the Future Winter Series here at Franciacorta 2022. So the drivers that will come to battle, led by Thomas Stoltjemanis and Tuukka Tarppanen. The second row, Kian Nakamura-Berta and Rashid Al-Daheri. Joe Turney and Gabriel Gomes from Matias Ferreira and Ian Eichmans. Then Alex Powell, Max Orlov, Joel Bergstrom and Zachary David. Then it is Victor Gustafsson and Freddie Slater. Behind them, it will be Lucas Samalisto and Harley Keeble, Luigi Coluccio and Francesco Marenghi, Rafael Modanese, Gustav Wisniewski, Maxim Rem, Jan Puchu, Matteo De Palo and Yvan David, Keanu Alazari from Josh Erfen, Mark Kastelich and James Igozi from Max Obst, Max Habicht, Max Angelard, Albin Storesen, Rintaro Sato, Ricky Liu, Karol Pazovic, and just scraping in, Christian Bertucka will be charging his way from the back. Very unpredictable. That is what this race is going to be remembered for. The OK Senior has had one man up the top all the way throughout, but Tuukka Tarponen has saved his best for last. He was amazing in the second chance superheat earlier today. He managed to book his place on the front row of the starting grid with a dominant race win, similar to that of Stoltemanis. But now that there's 23 laps on the board and the two of them will race together, what is going to happen? This race is 7 laps longer than any of them have managed this weekend so far. The superheats were 16 laps in length. This one is 23 laps in length. So this is the ultimate test of the driver's steely nerves. Who is going to come forward and take the victory? Thomas Stoltemanis from pole. Tuukka Tarponen from second. Kia Nakamura-Berta from third. Rashid Al-Daheri from fourth. Then Turney, Gomez, Ferreira, Eichmans, Powell, Orlov, Bergstrom and David. This is definitely not going to be easy to predict. Are we going to go racing? No. False start. There were too many drivers at the back who were not in position. So Martin Bean, the race director, chooses to send them round again just to keep the tension as high as possible for all of us at the side of the road here watching. For these 36 great athletes, this is not going to be an easy task at all. But if they want to be on the top step of this podium, they have got to bring their A game to the table. This is not about fortune anymore. This is not about tactics. This is not about the opportunity to win. This is about authority, about balance, and about poise. All of these drivers have got to make every single part of the puzzle come together. And if all the ingredients are right, you're in for an amazing dinner. So let's see if this is going to be the sweetest return for the drivers out there on the grid. Stoltemanis, Tarponen, Nakamura-Berta, Al-Daheri, Turney, Gomez. The revs rise, and we're racing at Franciacorta. Good start from the inside line. Nakamura-Berta and Turney tucking behind Stoltemanis as the field sweeps through turn 1 for the first time. Couple of drivers up on the curbs, and there's a spin. There's 2 carts off in the background. So a couple of drivers come together, and that is unfortunately Freddie Slater. He's out of it, just as his brother was in the junior race earlier. So Freddie Slater is down to the back, and it looks like he's tangled with Jan Puchu, who is also off the road. He manages to get going again, as does Freddie Slater, but their races have been severely compromised. So now Stoltemanis leads Nakamura-Berta and Joe Turney. Energy Course, Kart Republic, Tony Kart. It's going to be a fascinating battle from here on out, as everyone has a real chance of going for the victory here up in the top 5. Alex Powell has managed to get past Tuukka Tarponen behind Matthias Ferreira. And up the inside, that's Turney in a second place. Get ready, folks. Joe Turney has saved his best for last, and he is going to go for this. Charging after Thomas Stoltemanis. Advance the hero as Joe Turney charges forward. Matthias Ferreira is trying to take on his own teammate, and Alex Powell is there as well. So the 3 Kart Republics are together in between the Tony Karts. It's a triple Kart Republic sandwich on Tony Kart bread as you run from 2nd to 6th. Turney, Nakamura-Berta, Ferreira, Powell and Tarponen as they head down the hairpin. Powell's going to make the first bid. He gets through into 5th position. So a great start, but they can't afford to do too many battles with each other. Powell up to 4th past Ferreira. Tarponen is waiting in the wings in 6th position. And in 7th is Joel Bergstrom. He's the wild card in the factor here. 7th place so far for the Forza Racing driver from Sweden. And he's been awesome all weekend. He might just have a shot at this. Nakamura-Berta slips to 8th. And that appears to be, no, it is still Nakamura-Berta in 3rd position. An issue with our timing screen for some reason there. But it's still Stoltemanis out in front. Turney is 2nd. Nakamura-Berta is 3rd. So Turney's really got to work hard here to close up on Stoltemanis. As Powell holds his nerve, keeps himself in position. But this is definitely going to be an interesting one. As Stoltemanis across the line, he leads. Turney, Nakamura-Berta, Powell, Ferreira, Tarponen, Bergstrom, Coluccio. Then it is Lucas Samalisto in front of Gabriel Gomez. So what can Nakamura-Berta do in here behind Joe Turney? Ian Eichmann sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 3, as we are now on lap 4. 20 to go. It's a long race, but there's a lot of battles still to come in this one. As Nakamura Berta follows in behind Joe Turney. Turney is just building up the tension now. He's within half a second still of Thomas Stolchemanis, but he needs some support. He needs a little bit of assistance. Nakamura Berta doesn't want to help him. He goes through on his own in a second place. So now the reigning junior world champion, he's going after Thomas Stolchemanis. The Japanese star is there in second. Joe Turney's going to come straight back at him. Thank you very much. And Alex Powell gets through as well. So the Jamaican is through into third. And now we've got Kiya Nakamura Berta trying to hold up Matias Ferreira, who wants a piece of the Japanese driver as well. He's just set the fastest lap of the race. And now Nakamura Berta has to hang on to fourth place for dear life. So now Turney and Powell are going to work together here to go after the race leader, Thomas Stolchemanis. But have they got enough to go after the energy course? The Latvian cannot afford to make a mistake here, because that train is very long. Powell's going for it on Joe Turney, and he's through. Second place for the Jamaican. Joe Turney slots into third, and Nakamura Berta's got an opportunity here. Up to turn one. But Powell is parking the bus. He wants to keep second place. And he obviously feels that later in the race he's going to have a better opportunity to go after Stolchemanis. He puts the cart in the middle of the road. Nakamura Berta's going to get alongside Turney, and he's through! Nakamura Berta nearly squeezes him, but Turney comes back in opposition. And here comes Joel Bergström. Bergström is up in fifth. A great run so far from the Swede. Bergström is doing an amazing job here in fifth position, riding behind Nakamura Berta. Can he make this happen? Tarpanen is there in P6. This isn't quite what he wanted. That's Victor Gustafsson. Victor Gustafsson is out of the race by the look of it, as is Christian Bertucca. So Gustafsson is watching on the sidelines. But it's Stolchemanis, Powell, Turney, Nakamura Berta, Bergström and Tarpanen. That's the order at the moment. Coluccio's up to seventh. Then it is Matias Ferreira, Lucas Amalisto and Ian Eichmans from Gomez de Palo, Modenese, Jovan David, Harley Keeble and Keanu Alazari. Now what has happened to Rashid Al-Daheri? He has fallen all the way down to 22nd as Ian Eichmans has been given a warning flag. So Ian Eichmans is going to get a 5-second penalty added to his time. That's going to drop him to around the Maxim Rem Rintaro Sato mark, around about 18th or 19th place. Rashid Al-Daheri sets the fastest lap, a 47.33. But the damage is already done for the young man from the United Arab Emirates as Bergström runs out wide, and that's Tarpanen through into fifth position. Now Tuka Tarpanen is going to take on the Japanese. The reigning world champion takes on the reigning junior world champion. Nakamura Berta versus Tuka Tarpanen. So the two men who conquered all at Campos last year. Here comes Coluccio on the inside of Bergström as Stolchemanis gets another fastest lap in, and he's 1.7 ahead of Alex Powell already. So still the battles rage. But Thomas Stolchemanis looks unbeatable as Ferreira makes his bid on the inside of Bergström and gets through. Now Ian Eichmans is lining up his own bid to get past the Swedish driver. Still they battle away. Jovan David having got past Rafael Modenese. A late lunge from Eichmans on the inside of the Forza racing machine of Joel Bergström. I didn't see what the outcome was. But there is Joe Turney running in front of Kiya Nakamura Berta and Tuka Tarpanen. They're trying to follow in behind Alex Powell, who has pulled out to 0.4 of a second clear, but Thomas Stolchemanis is absolutely loving it out front. The Latvian is just uncatchable. Lap 9 of 23. Alex Powell has got to hope that he can look after his tyres better than Thomas Stolchemanis can look after his. A little bit of a twitch from Joe Turney as he runs in third. Nakamura Berta trying to drop Tarpanen and go after the Tony kart. The kart is quick, but is it quick enough? That's the big question for Joe Turney, as he needs to shake off Nakamura Berta. As up the inside, that's Ferreira on Coluccio. The Brazilian takes on the Italian, and as we look back, he made it. He got through into P6. So Ferreira is now in 6th compared to Coluccio, as there's the race leader, Thomas Stolchemanis, invincible. The Latvian is having a wonderful race here, marching to the victory out in front. The energy course driver is not even breaking a sweat, and he has got that up to 2.1 seconds ahead of Alex Powell now. He's just enjoying a lovely Sunday drive in the Italian countryside. This is heaven sent for Thomas Stolchemanis. Here's the battle further back. Tarpanen trying to stay with Nakamura Berta. And Alex Powell still has a little bit of breathing space to Joe Turney, but not much, as Turney is reeling him in sector by sector, lap by lap. Turney with the head down, gunning for Alex Powell into turn one, and he's having to think about it. Powell has to cut across. Nakamura Berta being as defensive with Tarpanen. Two Tony Kart superstars trying to make their way past their opponent. Turney to try and get into second. Tarpanen to try and get into fourth. But Alex Powell in second place at the moment in front of Joe Turney. The gap has increased to 2.5 seconds. They're really struggling to match Thomas Stolchemanis. Not many people might have come into this weekend thinking he was one of the favourites for the 2022 karting season, but Mick Panagada and the Energy Course crew had something up their sleeve in Thomas Stolchemanis. Here comes Turney on the inside of Powell, back in a second position for the British driver. Oh, and a little bit of a nudge. Turney saves it, but how close was that to a big spin for the Tony Kart driver? Now Powell is backed up into Nakamura Berta and Tarpanen. Oh, goodness me. The tension is raised again as Powell holds the middle of the road to keep Nakamura Berta at bay. Tarpanen trying to get one over on the Japanese driver, and Ferreira queuing up behind them. Stolchemanis is now 3.2 seconds clear. He's gone. Here comes Nakamura Berta, slicing on the inside of his teammate Alex Powell. And the Japanese driver gets through. Tarpanen's having to defend from Ferreira. He nudges Powell forward to give himself the best chance of doing so. Now he's going for the Jamaican. On the inside. Lovely from Tarpanen. Ferreira gets there as well. So Powell goes from second to sixth in the space of half a lap. Zachary David gets the warning flag. Unfortunate for the Sauber Academy driver, as he now finds himself down at the back of the field with that penalty applied. Karel Pazovic has joined the retirements list of Christian Bertucka and Victor Gustafsson as well. So now, what can this man do? Matthias Ferreira getting back on terms with Tuka Tarpanen. The Kart Republic star from Brazil trying to tuck in behind the fin. So Matthias Ferreira really wants to make a piece of this. Look at Thomas Stolchemanis out in front. Legendary, absolutely perfect drive from him so far. Turning in second, Nakamura Berta in third, fourth is Tarpanen, fifth is Ferreira, sixth is Powell, seventh is Coluccio, and though all six of them are together on the same bit of racetrack. Eighth is Bergstrom, ninth is Eichmanns, 10th is Gomez, then it's Keeble, David, Modenese, Samalisto, Alazzari and De Palo. Still the drivers battle for supremacy in the final here, 13 done and 10 to go. And it certainly looks as though Stolchemanis is not going to lose this final now. 3.4 seconds clear in karting terms. That is the equivalent of a 15-second lead in cars. Absolutely amazing. Stolchemanis well clear of Turney, Nakamura Berta and Tarpanen, who are still dueling for position. Second down to fifth. Powell and Coluccio have dropped back a little way, but not by much. This has all come down to tyre pressures, determination, and good handling and management of tyres and brakes. Coluccio's going to make his bid on Powell, and he slides him wide. Excellent overtake from Luigi Coluccio. P6, that's done. So Stolchemanis on lap 15 out of 23, 9 to go, and it's perfect as far as the Energy Course team are concerned. They're all just there with twitchy feet and crossed fingers. It'll be a great way to start the season for Thomas Stolchemanis. So through they come at the hairpin. Back onto 13 and on the run to the hairpin on the back straight. Thomas Stolchemanis looking so comfortable. Turney, Nakamura Berta, Tarpanen, Ferreira. These two Tony Karts and two Kart Republics look as if they're about to duke it out in style. In here you've got the Vice World Champion, the Junior World Champion, the reigning World Champion, and the would-be World Champion, Matthias Ferreira. This is a fabulous battle with these four. Albin Sterayson has been given the warning flag, so I'm afraid that's going to drop the Swede down to the back of the field. And he will end up with the 5-second penalty that comes with the warning flag. It cannot be contested, it cannot be appealed. So three drivers picking that up over the course of this frenetic race here at Franciacorta. The leaders continue their charge. Second down to fifth. Turney, Nakamura Berta, Tarpanen, Ferreira. Luigi Coluccio has got through, as we know, past Alex Powell. So Powell is trying not to fall into the clutches of Joel Bergstrom. But this will be tough, and it will be very tense indeed. Lap 17. Turney's got Nakamura Berta for company. They battle away for second place. Tarpanen is fourth. Ferreira is fifth. And still, they trade apex speeds as they come off the corner. This is going to be quite tight. Lap 17, as we know. And this is where Joe Turney is really starting to get into a rhythm as Ferreira gets side by side with Tarpanen, and he's through. That was the latest of overtakes into turn 11. But Matías Ferreira squeezes Tarpanen at the apex, and that's a lovely move for P4 from the Brazilian. So Turney into second, as we know, from Nakamura Berta, then Ferreira, Tarpanen, Coluccio, Powell, Bergström, Eichmanns and Gomez. And Nakamura Berta drops it through turn 2. That gives Turney a little bit of breathing space. And there is Freddie Slater having a really difficult race, trying to fight his way back in dead last after his off at turn 1. He's learning about how tough OK Senior racing is, very much the hard way. And unfortunately, Franciacorta 2022 in February was not kind to the Slater family in the finals, despite the great work that both Freddie and Alfie did over the course of Friday and Saturday. So they're going to forget this one and move on very quickly, I'm sure. But they'll be back at Portimao for the first round of the Euro Series, and they'll be ready to go to battle again. A happy hunting ground, of course, for Freddie Slater, the scene of where he won his Junior World Championship title 2 years ago. So Stolchemanis, 4 seconds clear of Joe Turney. Only a mechanical failure seems to be separating Thomas Stolchemanis and the victory at the moment. And with the Energy Course team on the spanners, that doesn't look likely at the moment. Thomas Stolchemanis is just cantering to the victory. This is a wonderful day for the team, having just watched Andres Cardenas come home in second place in the OK Junior final. Now it looks as though they're going to get their first win of the 2022 season in Champions of the Future. So nearly the double, but at least they will get the victory if things stay as they are with 4 laps to go. And Turney is there in second in front of Nakamura Berta, Ferreira and Tarpanen. Luigi Coluccio in P6 from Powell, Bergström, Eichmanns and Gomez. Then Keeble and David, Samalisto, Modenese, Keanu Alazari, Rintaro Sato, Rashid Al-Daheri has recovered to 17th. And then it is Maxim Rem in front of Matteo De Palo and Ricky Liu. Still, the drivers fight for supremacy all the way through this field. The trouble is there are 36 drivers, all of whom are good enough to be on the podium. And sadly, only 3 of them can be. But for Stolchemanis, there's no doubt as to where he's going to finish. The victory is all but secured now. But here comes Ferreira, making his bid on his teammate into third place for the Brazilian. Wonderful move in the hairpin for Matías Ferreira, and now the fight for the podium begins as he gestures to his teammate, come on, let's go after Joe Turney. Tuka Tarpanen is still there in 5th, ready for the hunt, ready for the battle. There are 3 laps to go, so this race is far from over. And this 3rd position on the podium, even the 2nd position on the podium, could still change, as Turney is doing his best to run away from the Kart Republic twins. But certainly at the moment, there is going to be some pressure from Matías Ferreira, who seems to have come good in the last few laps. There's Stolchemanis, it's the entire length of the back straight that he leads by. Gomez has been able to get past Ian Eichmanns as well in the background, I notice. And Ricky Liu has made his move on Josh Erfan for 21st. So still they battle, still there are overtaking moves galore. And this is Ian Eichmanns dueling away with Gabriel Gomez again. Into turn 1, they were absolutely at each other's throats as they came through. And still the drivers race for position. And it is going to be very tight all the way through the field as drivers are gunning for move after move after move. So there are some good battles coming. Matías Ferreira closing up on Joe Turney again. Behind Gomez in 9th, we've got Keeble up to 10th. Ivan David is 11th. Rafael Modenese is now 12th. Then Samalisto and Alazari ahead of Ian Eichmanns. So Eichmanns has dropped to 15th. Not exactly what he wanted from these last few laps. As into the last lap goes Thomas Stolchemanis. Out in front, absolutely perfect. But second place is still up for grabs. Matías Ferreira still feels he can topple Joe Turney, but this man has been flawless, absolutely flawless all weekend. Time qualifying Friday, quickest, win in race 1, win in race 2, win in race 3, win in this morning's superheat. This is just about the most textbook you can ever get it in OK Senior. This is just unheard of in the OK Senior category. Normally it's ultra competitive between everybody, but Thomas Stolchamanis has made this look like child's play. He comes out of the final turn for Energy Course and for Latvia. Thomas Stolchamanis dominates in Franciacorta. What a drive! Perfection! That's what it looks like, folks. Thomas Stolchamanis, Vincitore, Energy Course, Latvia, and Thomas Stolchamanis. He wins the Champions of the Future Winter Series at an absolute hot streak. Unbeaten. The headlines back home in Latvia will say, the best, the very best, unbeaten. Thomas Stolchamanis is victorious. Looks like a last-minute moment for Max Angelard, I'm afraid. His race is over as he watches from the sidelines in the closing stages. But Thomas Stolchamanis has been just blissful to watch out in front. No matter who took him on, nobody could catch him. And that is how you win in OK Senior at an absolute canter. A terrific result, and he celebrates with his Energy Course mechanics on the pit wall. Amazing. Thomas Stolchamanis is triumphant here at Franciacorta from Joe Turney and Matthias Ferreira, from Kia Nakamura Berta and Tuka Tarpanen, Luigi Coluccio, Joel Bergstrom, Alex Powell, Gabriel Gomez, and just in the top 10, Harley Keeble. Yavan David is 11th from Rafael Modenese, Lucas Samalisto and Rentaro Sato, Chiara Malazzari and Rashid Al-Daheri from Ian Eichmans and Maxim Rem. Then it's Maxim Orlov, Matteo De Palo, Josh Erfen and Ricky Liu. From James Agozi, Max Obst, Gustav Wisniewski, Mark Kastelich, Francesco Merengi and Jan Puchu. From Albin Steracen and Zachary David. Then Max Habicht and Freddie Slater. The retirements, Max Angelard, Karel Pazovic, Christian Bertuka and Victor Gustafsson. But what a sensational race from Thomas Stolchamanis on his debut in OK Senior at the Champions of the Future Winter Series here at Franciacorta. He has been the number one, the best, the top. The king of Franciacorta is the Latvian, Thomas Stolchamanis. What a result for the Energy Course superstar. And we will head to the podium to celebrate in his achievement. What a magnificent display. What a race and a fantastic battle we have had in the Champions of the Future OK Senior Final of the Winter Series 2022. And now we can welcome our three superstar drivers to the podium here at Franciacorta. In third position for Brazil, Matthias Ferreira. An excellent performance from the Kart Republic driver. In second position for the United Kingdom, Joe Turney. A great drive from the British driver. But on the top spot, your Champions of the Future Winter Series winner in OK Senior 2022 for Latvia, Thomas Stolchamanis! And for the winning team to come forward for Energy Course, please welcome to the podium, Mick Panigada! And in deference to our man on the top step of the podium, the national anthem for Latvia. A fabulous achievement for our drivers, and we will celebrate them in fantastic style as we welcome Ettore Bonara, the owner of the Franciacorta karting circuit, to give our drivers the trophies, starting with our man in third position for Brazil, Matthias Ferreira. And in second position after a feisty drive once again for the United Kingdom, Joe Turney. And to our race-winning driver after an absolutely fantastic performance and a great result on the top step, your champions of the future Euro Series winner in OK Senior from Latvia, Tomas Stočemanis! And finally, we will congratulate our winning team manager for Energy Course, a great and heroic weekend, Mick Panigada! So we will ask our drivers to hold their trophies aloft, as well as the winning team manager, Mick Panigada. Raise your trophies aloft in the air, folks, and we will get the fabulous winning trophy above your heads, guys, above the heads. Let's have a great winning pose for the drivers on the podium in OK Senior! And now a terrific result is finished up in OK Senior. The three drivers can now celebrate in fine style. And they are going to get the moment of glory that they've been waiting for all weekend. Mick Panigada makes a run for it, and I'm not at all surprised. It's time for our winning drivers to go bananas here in Franciacorta! A fabulous performance from our drivers, and a big congratulations. Let's grab a word with our winning driver on the podium. Thomas, an emotional weekend, but the absolute perfect performance in OK Senior. What an amazing job from qualifying through to the final. You were never beaten. How have you managed to do it?
We had amazing speed. That's the point. If you have the speed, then you just have to drive.
You really seem to have mastered this Franciacorta circuit. Does it suit your driving style, or have you really had to adapt to it over the week?
Of course, I drive it 120%. If you drive it 120% and full it out for you, then it's the result.
Well, I think everybody knows now that you're a championship contender for the Champions of the Future Euro Series. You're going to come back to Portimao, and I think everybody needs to be frightened of you.
I hope so.
Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, Tomas Stočemanis! Wow, that's all I've got to say. What a weekend. Now we're going to wrap it up in style with the KZ2 final. Bring on the thunder, bring on the noise.